Yo, good morning. Happy Thursday. You know what? Happy Thursday to everyone except the Angels. Because what the hell? I opened up my phone this morning. Seems like everyone was thinking the same thing I was last night. What the hell's going on with the Angels? Did they end up getting shut out? I think was it 2-0 again? Was it 2-0 back-to-back nights now? Let me go look. 2-0 again. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, Angels wasn't even one of my top bets, so I don't know why I'm stressing that much over it. It was more just like, dude, give Ohtani some help, man. I have two guests coming on. Not sure when they're gonna make. I only sent them a link about 3 minutes ago, so let's give them a minute. Hope everyone had a good night. So we had the top bets last night were the Cubs, which won, White Sox lost, Giants won. Overall, decent night on my end. Didn't make a ton of money. I think we finished about the same we did the night before, plus 0.15 or something. So basically a break-even night. All right, Commish just texted me. He's coming. He said, be there in 2 seconds. See where Toast is at. Oh, they're both here waiting for me. Never mind. My bad. Let's see. So this one is here. There we go. Everyone's in. Yeah, I was just talking some shit about the Angels offense, just regular stuff. What a disgusting display.
You weren't happy with how that turned out last night?
No. I mean, I was telling. Go ahead. No, well, I was just saying. I don't have any grounds to be mad because the night before I had Dodgers minus 1.5, and they won 2-0. So it's like I got a cash I didn't deserve. So last night I had the Angels. I don't know if if they screwed me 2 nights in a row, but their awful bats paid me out the night before that. So you give some, you take some. All right, so we only have 8 games to go through. It's there's actually a few bets I like, but still, as a whole, this isn't the most loaded day. We'll start out with the first one, and you know what? I'm on the Braves here. But as the comments, all of them to start off, the first 4 or 5 comments are like, "We're hammering the Braves today." Now it's got me a little scared about the Braves. I think we might have just lost Toast. Sure, I'll be back in a second. So Atlanta money line, it's at plus 102 on Barstool. You can get, like I said, you can get that on Barstool. All right, so you can see that the Braves are not super public here. Public's about split even. Sharp action is actually on the Phillies. Bryce Elder's last 3 starts on the road have been awesome. A 1.40 ERA, 2.45 FIP. You can make an argument he's actually been better on the road. He's been pretty well-rounded, though. But when you're looking at his recent road starts, you have to take into account that he did pitch at Oakland and at Miami in 2 of his last 3 starts on the road. And when he pitched against the Marlins, that was back in early May before they really started hitting. Toast is back. Let me get him in here. So, I mean, I don't know how much of a believer I am in Bryce Elder, but as far as the Phillies bats, I think they're a little bit overvalued just based on the winning streak. I mean, what have they won? 13 or less, 16, something like that. And I'm guilty of this also, of being like, oh, the Phillies bats are all the way back. If you actually just look at their numbers against right-handed pitching, I mean, in the last 14 days, 11th in OPS, 15th in WRC+. I mean, those numbers don't blow you away. We just saw Spencer Strider and James Kapp from Oakland pitch great games against the Phillies. So I think Bryce Elder's going to throw a good game here. I know Toast is probably going to say the exact opposite because he's a bona fide Braves hater. And on the other side, I think a definite regression candidate is Taijuan Walker. He is on fire right now. His last 3 starts were excellent. He's in his last 3 starts. He's 3-0 with an 0.45 ERA, 0.80 WHIP.
Hold on. I thought it was Nola going today.
Oh my God, my bad. my notes got thrown off with a stupid rain out. Good.
Because the East Coast people don't know what a fucking retractable roof is. Figure it out. Put another scoreboard up. Just put another scoreboard up.
Oh my
right.
God.
Fucking weirdos.
Yeah, I'm on the Braves. So I have to go back to my notes from 2 days ago, which I still had notes for the Braves hitting up Nola. So I'll go back to those. I like the Braves here. I covered it all on YouTube last night too. I'm still waking up here. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm on the Phillies. I got a way different number when I played them last night. I got Phillies first 5 -105 and Phillies on the money line at +100. Like Sauce said, I'm a Braves hater, so that's first and foremost. Second off, I am not a Bryce Elder believer. I give him respect for what he's done this year. There's no question about that, but I still do not trust him. Yep, Nola's pitched. Doesn't have good numbers against the Braves. He's pitched 2 bad starts in a row, yada, yada, yada. I think we see some vintage Nola today. I don't love how kind of everybody's on this Phillies train now. I was hoping to be in a boat by myself, kind of, but it is what it is. I got the best number, so we'll see what happens.
All right, Commish, what are your thoughts on Aaron Nola? I don't think I've ever heard you talk about Nola.
I was pretty heavy on his under 7.5 strikeouts yesterday, which of course got voided because of the rain out. So now 6.5, I'm not really willing to bet that. But he's been pitching better of late. If you look at like his barrel rate, 6.5% last 4 starts, hard hit rate under 35%. So I think overall he's starting to figure some things out. But man, the Braves lineup has just been so good. Right-handed pitching, the Braves have a reputation as a team I think that swings and misses a lot. But you look in June, 3rd lowest K percentage against right-handed pitching, right there with Washington and Cleveland. I think it's a situation where the Braves, the price is baking in Nola being the better pitcher, and Nola is better than Elder. But I'm not. We've talked about Elder when I've been on in the past. I don't think he sucks. I think there's things he does sustainably well. So for me, I think the Braves as an underdog have a little bit of value here.
All right, so he's on the Braves with me.
Toast. And just for the record, if last night when I was betting this, if Philly was -115, I wouldn't have looked at Philly. Okay. I took Philly at plus money. So we'll see where we're at. But yeah.
So at full game right now, -115, is this a pass for you?
It would be, yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let's move on to the next one. Oh man, of course. And to answer your question, no, Prop Fever's fine. Those videos that I put out at night with all those graphics in, we've been working till like 4 a.m. at night. So we switched the process up. Prop Fever's doing graphics during the day. I mean, he's only going to do 2 or 3 live shows a week to try to. You see, I was working him to death, man. It was the amount of hours he was here working was actually unfair to him. So this opens up his schedule a little bit, and you'll see him. He'll probably be back tomorrow, or he'll be back soon. He'll be here in like an hour. Anyway.
He'll be here.
Arizona at Washington. There's so many ways you can go with this. You can go Arizona team total over. You could just take the full game over. I really don't see how you could play an under unless you're just being the ultra contrarian here, which Toast might be doing. But I'm going to go with, I think it's priced really high for a reason. I'm going to go with the first 5 over 5.5. You can get that at plus 108 on Barstool, I think. Yes, Barstool. I thought if I wanted to narrow this down to one bet, I think this plays all my angles into it nicely. First of all, Jake Irvin. Jake Irvin's pitching. And Prop Ever said, I forget which start it was, after the Mets start, he said we should just blindly take the opponent's team total over every time Jake Irvin pitches. Well, the opponents in Jake Irvin starts are now 6 in a row to the over. And even though last start he actually did pitch well, but the Marlins still ended up at 5 runs to go over their total of 4.5. Not really his fault, but either way, Trent's still alive. That being said, even though he pitched well in his last start against Miami, this Arizona Diamondbacks lineup, I mean, the last 14 days, 3rd in OPS, 4th in WRC+. Even if you think Jake Irvin's a positive regression candidate, even if you think there are greener pastures in the future of Jake Irvin, I don't know how you could love him in this spot against a D-backs lineup that's really smacking the ball, especially against righties. And then on the other side is Tommy Henry. I mean, on the road, he's got a 6.75 ERA and a FIP of 7.28. Just wow, doesn't inspire a lot of hope. Now the Washington Nationals don't have the greatest looking numbers against lefties in the last couple weeks. In fact, they're towards the bottom, 24th in OPS, 26th in WRC plus. So it's not like the Washington offensive numbers really point towards an over, but Tommy Henry seems to be struggling against everybody. I think just at 5.5, it's priced there for a reason. So my notes are written for an Arizona money line because it was at minus 140 last night. So that's why I'm skimming through to find the first 5 over notes. First 5 over 5.5 plus 108. I am betting this.
Yeah, I was looking to play Arizona too. Got kind of priced out of it. One player prop that I always bet, especially against right-handed pitching, especially when he bats leadoff. Perdomo over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. We've cashed it like 3 of the last 4 days. When he's batting leadoff, it's just a number I really can't pass up with the havoc that he creates. And then for Washington, I mean, honestly, I was looking at Arizona, but like I said, I got priced out. I wouldn't mind like a Washington team total to just be away from that. This is going to be a third time they're seeing Tommy Henry this year. So I think that's a nice little advantage for the Washington bats that people probably aren't thinking about. But matter of fact, that first 5 over at plus 108 is kind of nice too. So I only played the Perdomo prop, but I would definitely expect to see runs just because everybody's on the net or on the snakes and stuff like that. I would look Washington team total being at their third time seeing him, but that's just me personally.
I think I'm looking at this game maybe a little bit different than you guys are. I mean, it's 2 shitty pitchers, so I feel like that's when people are least often in agreement. But if you look at Jake Irvin, he's been absolutely abysmal against left-handed batters. 690 FIP, 181 ERA, walking more guys than he's striking out. Against righties, not great, but 364 FIP, K percentage much better, a little bit better command if you're looking at the numbers, which obviously leads to less traffic on the base pass. This lineup that Arizona's rolling out today, only 4 lefties in the lineup. They got Perdomo, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, and then they have Alek Tomas down in the 7 hole. So I think the platoon splits are not as advantageous as I would like. I think all underdog value here is gone because, like you mentioned, Washington has just been so bad against left-handed pitching during the month of June. They are 26th in OPS. They are 22nd in ISO as well, so not doing much with the bats. Would scare me off of an over, personally. I think Arizona's a better team, but honestly, for me, it's
for whatever reason. Why is your voice not coming through here? You said they can't hear you. Let me see if something on my end.
I hear him fine.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I think someone might be playing a joke. Sorry, I mean I hear him fine too.
The only reason I said that is because usually if we all hear it, they can hear it. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, he just said I hear Kamish fine. So maybe sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut you off.
We've all been there, right? We've all had a computer on mute on accident before. Yeah, so for me, I think I'm passing on this game personally. I do like the Perdomo look that you shared, Toast. I think that's a decent look in the leadoff spot, but overall for me, this would be a pass. Maybe a live spot on the Diamondbacks, depending where that price goes. But yeah, I think Perdomo, I like that look a lot. I would back that. Otherwise, I would just pass.
Yeah. I really liked Arizona at minus 140, but now above minus 150 on the road. Yeah.
No, Washington has really struggled. That's a lot of juice for.
Absolutely.
Once I saw that they had saw him twice already, I was like, "There's no way I'm laying it today. Can't do it."
Okay, so his volume was low. So next, I'll turn his volume up. That's not on him. Usually, I have to adjust the levels. All right, so Boston and Minnesota. I skipped this one last night. I don't really have any huge difference of opinions here. If I had to place a bet, it would be Minnesota team total on. I'm not betting this, but it would be Minnesota team total under 4.5 at plus 100. The Twins win one game, and all of a sudden they got this number all the way up at 4.5 just because of the pitcher for Boston. They haven't gone on over this total in 8 straight games. I know they had 5 last night, but that was in the 10th inning. They haven't gone over 4.5 runs in regulation in I think 7 or 8 games or something like that. So yeah, this is what I would bet if I was betting this, but I'm not going to waste time talking about it because I'm not betting it.
Yeah, I would, if I had to bet this, I would bet Twins on the run line at plus 125 for a small bet, just because Boston was on that nice little run. Now all the air is out of the sails. I don't really like that spot for them. But at the same time, though, like they've hit Joe Ryan pretty decently. Last year they saw him went 5 innings, gave up 8 hits and 5 runs. This year they see him once. Joe Ryan went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 6 hits. So that's, I'm just really not there paying that price with Minnesota right now. I really, really like Joe Ryan. I've made a lot of money with him, but he really hasn't looked good his last 3 or 4 starts. At least the Joe Ryan that I know and love. It's not that dominant level, but like I said, I just don't really like the spot for Boston. I don't really love their bullpen in general. So I think this would be Minnesota's day if I had to bet it.
And who's this pitcher for Boston? B. Walter? Is the graphic correct?
Yeah, I see. I had Garza. I think
it is Garza now. It's hard doing these because you do the graphics the day before and then they keep switching it. It's like it's tough to keep up with. So what? All right, Kamish. What do you like, Garza? Are you big on this guy?
No, but I think it's a little bit of a similar situation to what we saw with the Dodgers last night. And if you saw any of the post-game notes from the Angels, it was bullpen games are really tough on the offense just because you're not seeing guys multiple times through the order. And I know, Sauce, we've talked about this on the show before, but especially guys that don't have a deep pitch mix, when they might have success the first time through the order, think of a guy like Hunter Green, but the second time through the order, if you're just fastball slider, professional hitters are going to have much better at-bats. They're going to see the ball a lot better. One thing with Garza, he pitched on the 19th. He faced 10 batters. He hasn't faced more than 10 batters in a game all season. So I would expect him to open, and then I feel like it's just going to be a collection of Boston relievers after that, or maybe another bulk guy that's going to throw 2 innings. But I think that makes it difficult on the Minnesota hitters in this one. I think I'm going to end up either on the under 9 here or potentially on the under for the Minnesota team total. I'm with you. I just think the Twins are just such a bad baseball team. That division is horrific, which I think gives them a little bit more respect than they deserve. I like Joe Ryan a decent amount. I don't like the fact that Chris Guccione's behind the plate tonight, a pretty K-averse umpire, so probably more balls in play. Not great for a Minnesota defense that has been a little bit inconsistent this year. So I think that makes things a little bit dangerous if you want to take the Twins on the money line. So for me, I'm going to be on the under 9 or potentially the Twins under on the team total here. Honestly, might split an investment. So we'll see where I end up, but it's going to be one of those two.
Also, Twins used Duran last night for 30 plus. So even if he's available tonight, I'm sure Boston would welcome him in.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And I doubt it with the afternoon start time, 1:10 after. So that's a really good point.
If you just to combine what they both said, so if you want to just play Garza through the first 10 and play that you don't really love the Minnesota lineup, you could go Boston first 3 plus a half run.
I'm telling people to take a half a run,
but it's at minus 130. All right, so anyway, let's move on. Oh man, sorry about that. All right. Oakland at Cleveland. So what I ended up doing in this one, I know that people might not like this one, but I am betting it. Oakland first 5 money line plus 140.
Go ahead and copy and paste, baby.
Yeah, I plus 140 just seems like some good value here. Logan Allen's numbers are just trending in the wrong direction. He's coming off back-to-back terrible starts. Now, at home against Houston might be the perfect spot for him to get back on track. Don't get me wrong. But his last 3 home starts, he's got a 6.06 ERA, 178 whip. Now, again, he pitched against the Astros, the White Sox, and the Angels. And Houston and Chicago have some decent-looking numbers against lefties recently, despite the Astros struggles. So not the easiest stretch of games for Logan Allen, but still don't have a ton of confidence with this guy right now. And then Oakland, sure, they have terrible looking numbers against lefties, but they haven't really seen any lefties. They've only seen one lefty starter in the month of June, and it was, I think it was Christopher Sanchez with the Phillies, who actually pitched really well against them. And then, but really, the real main reason for this is JP Sears. He's been dominant. I mean, dominant might be a stretch because he actually just got hit. Well, in his last start, he had 7 innings pitched. He gave up 4 runs, but 7 innings pitched, just 4 hits. That's really not that bad. His last 4 road starts, he's got a 2.61 ERA, 106 WHIP. Just JP Sears versus Logan Allen straight up at plus 140. I think that's great value.
Yeah, I'm on Oakland as well. I just thought that number I couldn't pass up. I took a push yesterday with Oakland in the first 5, and that really hurt after a four-run lead. But I understand that Oakland's numbers versus lefties aren't really going to be good, but they do hit lefty starters better than they do righty starters, and they also hit better away. I think scoring runs yesterday helps, but honestly, it's just kind of a play on the number for me. The world's betting Cleveland. I get it. Good for Bo Naylor getting his first hit and all that good stuff yesterday. Now it's time for the third brother to come up in a couple years. But, yeah, I'm all over Oakland today with you in the first 5.
Yeah, to Toast's point, well, make the charts big real quick. Yeah, from my data, Cleveland is the most public bet on the board today. And, I mean, at home against Oakland. Who could blame them? But yeah.
See, and I don't get. I mean, I know that I know why you're saying that, but like, I see JP Sears, and I'm like, man, can I figure out a way to bet this team? Like,
yeah, but when we're dealing with these kind of par charts, we're talking to buy charts. We're just talking about the casual baseball bettor who's just going to look. What team do I think is better? Who do I think is going to win? And then Cleveland at home against Oakland. Yeah, most people are going to think Cleveland. And keep in mind, most people are placing money line parlays. As sad of a story as that is, that's what most people are doing. So, Commish, are you with us on JP Sears? Are you on the JP Sears train?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against you guys by any means. I have a little bit different look in this one, but I think it's because Sears is going to be able to limit some damage in the first 5. I like the under in this spot. I'm full game. Just the weather. It's a little cooler today in Cleveland. When that wind is blowing in from right field in Cleveland as well, typically results in lower scoring games. Probably be under 70 degrees around first pitch. You mentioned Oakland struggles against left-handed pitching, so I think if they're going to get the job done today, I don't think it's going to be like a 6-4 type of game. I think it's going to have to be like a 4-2 type of game. So for me, I think the under just makes a lot of sense. Sears, like you said, I mean, last 7 starts, only one game with more than 2 earned runs. If he gets through 6 innings and he looks that good, I mean, it should be 3-1, 4-2, somewhere in there. So I like the under.
Yeah.
Just really quickly, too, guys. The teams that JP Sears is facing, pretty dang good. Philadelphia, Milwaukee, they're crap. Pittsburgh, they're crap. Atlanta, Seattle, Houston, Texas. I mean, it's not like he's playing all these bum-ass teams either. I mean, he's facing good lineups.
Someone asked if you guys would play JP Sears over 3.5 strikeouts. That's more a question for you guys. I don't really dive into the strikeout stuff.
All I can tell you is that he's had his last few starts 7-5, 6-2, 1, 7-6, and he faced Cleveland earlier this year and had 5. But I haven't played a K prop in 3 years.
Oh wow! All right, Commish, did you check out this one?
Yeah, Jeremy Riggs is behind the plate. Pretty K-friendly umpire. Afternoon games, I always lean over just because, like, I don't take batting practice. It's a quick turnaround after a night game. You mentioned Sears' numbers. I think that makes sense. The Guardians are a very high-contact team. I haven't dug into the lineup super in-depth, but they do strike out a little bit more against lefties than they do righties. So, I mean, 3.5 is a low number. I could see – let me see what –
Right. Based on – I know this is a very square way to look at this, but based on the numbers Toast just read, you would think over 3.5. But obviously that line's not there for no reason.
Yeah, I just wanted to see the price because I think that makes a difference, and it looks like 3.5 is juice to the gills everywhere.
Oh,
and then FanDuel's got a 4.5 at plus money. I would probably prioritize. I don't know. If I'm going to take a stab on that, I'd probably take the over 4.5 person. Like I think if Sears is locked in, I mean, just the plus money makes a lot more sense than a 3.5 at minus 170 on Caesars in my mind.
170.
Yeah, 170.
Yeah.
Quick question, and I don't want to dive too deep into this, but do you think, me and Toast always argue about this, do you think that framing pitches should be a thing? Like, Toast likes how a catcher could frame a pitch and get a ball called as a strike. You think that's a good part of baseball? I think that's stupid.
I love it, man. I'm a pitching coach, so like working with the catchers, you know, if we can steal some strikes, if we can influence the umpire with a couple friendly comments during the game, I'm all for.
It's all part of the game,
what
baby.
What the hell is wrong with you guys?
Because you know what the thing is that you and Beaver all call for, I can't wait for the robot umps. And then you're going to hate it because there's going to be balls that are usually strikes that you can get used to strikes, and you're going to hate it because they're not going to be called. It's not as simple as what everybody thinks that.
I want that box. Do you see on the television broadcast? I want that box to exist.
It's wrong.
Well, I know it's an estimation.
And when you see things like umpire scorecards and all that stuff, that's not how MLB umpires are graded. So there's no point of even looking at that crap.
Bring on the robots. Let's go to the next game. Yeah, I mean, I was just curious of where you stood on it because me and Toast have argued.
There's one thing that I would fight to the death. It would be robot umps in baseball. I think I'm with you, Toast. I think people have no idea how much that will kill the enjoyment of the game.
They think it's better because they lose the K prop.
Well, hold on.
Ruin the game of baseball.
When I say robot umps, I don't literally mean there's still going to be an umpire standing behind the catcher. I meant everything should be called by a room full of monitors. We're in an age where
I disagree.
We're in an age where, and this is happening in all sports, where me sitting home, the average person sitting home on the living room couch has a better view than most of the officials now. Because we're going to see it in a slow motion 4K replay this close when they're watching it in live time. This applies really heavily to basketball too, where it's like we're having referees call fouls with the naked eye when we're seeing a replay in slow motion in 4K. Obviously, how's there not a room full of officials looking at the same thing, making sure the calls get called correctly? That's like
I would say the biggest difference though with baseball is like umpires that are bad umpires, like bad umpires or guys that ruin K props. Typically, they have a pretty consistent strike zone, so they might call a little bit more on the outside corner. They might call a little.
Yeah,
exactly. And so I think and the teams that are going into the game, they understand this, right? They understand that there's another 2 inches on the outside corner against righties in this game. They understand that you're not going to get that high and away strike type of thing. Like to argue that like these teams are unprepared or that they're being victimized by having human umpires behind them. There's so much data on these guys, especially the veterans that have been around for 5-10 years, that I honestly don't think it's as big of a deal as the people who sit at home think it is.
I don't necessarily think it's a huge deal. It's more of a funny talking point than a huge deal. But there is some times where a call gets made and you're like, I can't believe we're just going to keep playing this game after that was called a strike. It was clearly not a strike.
In the minor leagues, they do have that system. The umpire's behind the plate. If the guy thinks it's a ball and the umpire says it's a strike, it's a quick thing and they change it.
Perfect. Sounds good.
It's coming. But there's also a lot of plays that people are
coming. So
robot umps. And I'm like, actually, the robot umps wouldn't be making that call. It'd still be in the hands of a regular umpire. So
yeah, but the robot umps could correct him when he's being a jackass. All right, let's keep going. Padres at Giants. I like the Padres here. I've been playing the Giants. I played them all 3 games in this series. But actually, to be fair, I'm not on the full game. I'm in the first 5.
Me too.
I like the Padres.
Is it still plus money?
Yeah, it was about an hour ago. It was at plus 106 on FanDuel. So like the Padres first 5, minus a half run at plus 106. There's just everything is pointing towards Blake Snell over Alex Wood here. I'm going to go through this. Listen to how crazy of all these splits point one way. So first of all, Padres have been crushing lefties in the last 30. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly because there's a lot. Padres are crushing lefties. Over the last 30 days, they're second in WRC plus against lefties. So Padres have been hitting lefties. Bad news for Alex Wood. In Alex Wood's last 4 home starts versus the Padres, 0-2, 8.31 ERA, 167 WHIP. Bad news for Alex Wood. In his last 3 home starts in general, not even against the Padres, just his last 3 home starts, 8.10 ERA, 4.28 WOBA, 5.61 FIP. Bad news for Alex Wood. Let's look at his day and night splits. He's been excellent at night. In his 6 night starts, a 1.93 ERA, 1.11 WHIP. But in his 3 day starts, ragdolled. 8.49 ERA, 4.52 WOBA, 2.14 WHIP. So another more bad news for Alex Wood. Every single thing you look at points to the fact that Alex Wood should get rocked in this spot. And then the other side, you have Blake Snell. It's like the exact opposite. First of all, Blake Snell's hot. In his last 5 starts, an 0.60 ERA, 0.90 WHIP, 2.21 FIP. His last 4 road starts, a 1.50 ERA, 1.04 WHIP, 2.91 FIP. So he's been good on the road, which is a little bit uncharacteristic for Snell over the last few seasons. And then it gets even deeper if you look at his history against the Giants, because in his 6 career appearances against the Giants, 3-1 with a 2.51 ERA. So everything points towards Alex Wood getting hit up. Everything points towards Blake Snell shutting down the Giants, except for one thing. The Giants have been red hot against lefties. You have to mention that. But it's just play Snell against Alex Wood in this spot at plus 106. Got to do it. I'm going to stay away from the full game because the Giants are just magic right now. They just don't stop winning. Was it 9 in a row now? They're magical. So I'll stick to the first 5. That way the Giants can continue their little hot streak, and I can still cash my bet.
Yeah, same bet as Sauce, and then just add on Padres first 5 team total over 2.5 at plus 120, or whatever it is now. The only reason I was laughing so hard is because when Beaver sends out notes to us, and sometimes he posts them on Twitter, but he highlights words. And the first thing I saw on his notes was ragdoll. And I'm like, what is he talking about?
Yeah, that's Prop Beaver's word.
As he said that word, I was just dying laughing because I was going to say you forgot ragdoll. But I can't really add anything much. I've lost with the Padres 3 straight days. I suck at life when it comes to betting the Padres. So it is what it is. I think the game yesterday would have been a little bit differently with that call would have been changed after Fernando just threw that guy out again. But didn't matter if they lose. So sticking to the first 5, we'll see what happens. Figure out how they lose it today.
Yeah, Prop Beaver writes a lot of the notes. And sometimes he'll send me a game. What I'll do is I'll give him a few games and then he'll send them to me. And when he sends me a game, sometimes I literally just have to change all the words because I'll read it and be like, I'm not saying that. Like, I'm not going to say that. Like, maybe your crazy ass would say that. I'm not saying that. Kamish, are you with us on the fade Alex Wood train?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of it is because of how good Blake Snell has been. You look at his first 11 starts this year, 12.5% swinging strike rate. His last 3 starts has been much, much better. Cubs, Rockies, and Rays, 18.5%. If you go look at what might be contributing to this, you can see that early in the season in April, Blake Snell, 58% usage of his fastball in 0-0 count, all the way up to 65% in June. So you can see being a little bit more aggressive in the zone early in counts, puts hitters on the defensive. Then he's obviously able to use his nasty breaking stuff to expand the zone, to get some chases out of the zone. You mentioned the Giants' offense has been great. I think that's fantastic. And in a different matchup, that might mean more. But like you said, during the month of June, against left-handed pitching, the Padres are first in OPS, first in ISO. I think just too much makes sense here. I typically will break a game down into like which offense has the advantage, which starting pitcher has the advantage, and which bullpen has the advantage. In this case, I think the Padres have the advantage at least in 2 of those 3 areas, if not all 3. So I think it's the Padres just make a ton of sense in this spot.
Are you going to go money line, first 5?
I'm with you guys, -0.5.
Yeah, go.
I also played El Nino over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at plus 120. So he's just wreaks havoc on those base paths. It's a really play that I've really had a lot of success with. At 2.5, it doesn't even scare me too. Usually they're at 1.5, but the way that he's been hitting the ball and stealing bases and stuff, I don't really worry about it. Soto has really good numbers against Wood as well. So just so you guys know.
I'm going to start tailing your stupid Fraley bet and watch it starts losing now.
Please don't. Just stay away.
You were like, it's free money. So
it is free money, but I hate when people do that. And then if it loses, I will never forgive you.
Yeah, I'm jumping on. Next time the Reds see a righty, Jake Fraley. What is it? Over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. It's got an insane hit rate. All right, so
when he hit the home run the other night, I lost it. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Royals at Rays. Look, I'm not going to kick down the door to get anyone to tail me on this one. I'm just going to play Royals plus 2.5 at -105, just because whenever I can get an MLB team at plus 2.5 at close to even money, I'm going to take it. Trust me, I know everything points towards a comfortable Rays victory here. I get it. This is just simply what I just said. When I can get an MLB team getting 2.5 runs at damn near even money, I'll just take it. Because mathematically, should turn a profit over time.
Yeah, I bet the Rays last night -1.5 at -110. It's jacked to like 150 or something right now. So maybe use the Rays in a parlay piece if you really feel like it. But I'm going to be priced out at this price. Excuse me.
I'm with you, Sauce. It's just kind of a default play for me. You get plus 2.5 on any Major League Baseball team. This is, it's tough to win baseball games by 3 runs. You don't get any extra points in the standings for winning games by 3 runs. Obviously, the starting pitching matchup is really favored for the Rays here, but the Royals are probably going to use 4, 5, 6 pitchers again today. Like I think there's an opportunity for a lower scoring affair here, especially you're in Tropicana. Get a lower scoring game, like 2.5. It's just kind of a systems play.
Agreed. Did you hit a plus 2,500 yesterday? Someone said nice cash yesterday, commish 25-1.
No, it wasn't yesterday. I did. Roto Grinders asked me to do a Dinger Tuesday piece last week, and I parlayed Ian Happ to hit a home run and Jack Swinski to hit a home run, which I've never done in my life because I think it's honestly a really dumb thing to do is to parlay home run bets. But they both hit a home run in the first inning. So
yeah, shit! In the first inning, that's dope.
Yeah, I was actually on the phone. The game was delayed a few minutes, I think, and I didn't even realize that it had started. So I didn't even get to watch it live. I had none of the emotional joy of watching that play cash. But yeah,
that's awesome.
So are you telling me that all these home run parlays are not plus EV like I thought?
Like honestly, I played it because you put out plays, like obviously I'm going to be on them, but yeah. I had no expectation that would cash, and then it did, and I gained like 100-something followers. And I was like, it's like, please don't expect this from me all the time. Like
that's the worst. Yeah,
I think I'm officially going to switch over to Roto Grinders for my daily lineups because Roto Wire's been pissing me off. I think I'm going to be a Roto Grinders man. And now that I know you and that you do work with them, I feel like I should be more loyal.
Dude, I'll be honest. They do some really good work, and I don't say that because I work for them. Like I genuinely talk to those guys a lot. Like pick their brain on stuff. They run a premium service they track everything. It's very transparent. The guys are up a ton of units on the year. It's just a great product. They have their own in-house meteorologist. They really great tools across the board.
They have a meteorologist.
They own RotoWare too.
What'd you say?
Do they own RotoWare too?
RotoWare.
I actually don't know
all the shirts and stuff like that.
I actually don't know that off the top of my head. I know they're part of a collective. They're in
I'm even wearing like a RotoWare shirt right now.
I never heard of RotoWare. I always use RotoWire, but I'm
all those shirts that I wear that have all the different players and stuff on it all come from RotoWare.
All right, let's move on to the next one. All right. What, you like this game? Pirates at Marlins?
No, I was saying woo because I thought it was the Mariners.
I'm pissed that I got priced out of this one. When I did the video last night, it was Marlins at like minus 128. I was like, let's bet it. It's over minus 150 now.
What?
Yeah. Let me get an updated line. I think it was at minus 152 when I looked.
Yeah, I sent it out last night at minus 120. Good Lord.
Yeah, when I uploaded, I'm pretty sure it was minus 128. Yep, minus 150 on Barstool is actually the best number you can get. It's at minus 155 on most books. So I think my favorite bet in this game has switched, and this is a bet I actually did place. This isn't a lean. That being said, it was only a half unit. Look, everyone's looking at these two pitchers, Mitch Keller, Braxton Garrett's red hot, and thinking this is going to be super low scoring. First 5 over 4 plus money. I think that's a good bet. Now, I don't know if I really need to cover why I think the Marlins might score some runs on Mitch Keller. I mean, just look at his recent performances. Definitely a production drop off from him. I feel like everyone's talking about it, so I won't even go through them. But basically, if you take Mitch Keller's first 10 starts of the year, compare him to his last 5, his numbers have doubled. His ERA is more than double. WHIP is close to double. FIP is close to double. Basically, all his stats are there's huge production drop off, and it's not that he's pitching against good teams. In his last 5 starts, where we see him struggling, pitch against the Mariners, the Giants. Giants are good, but Mariners, Giants, A's, Mets, Brewers. These are not lineups an elite pitcher should be struggling against. So major cause for concern for Mitch Keller. And then, Braxton Garrett has been dominant for sure. And yes, the Pirates don't really give you a ton of reason to think that they will hit off him, but I feel like he's just due to give up a couple runs. And honestly, I think you only need 1 or 2 out of Pittsburgh to cash this with ease. An even 4 plus 105, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm on Miami money line and minus. Well, obviously you can't get it anymore, but yeah, I'm on Miami. I wouldn't pay the minus 150, that's for sure, but I got him at minus 120, so it is what it is. I'm going to continue to bet on Braxton Garrett. He's been fantastic. 2 road starts against Washington and Chicago. 9.1 innings, only a run, 7 hits. His last 2 home starts against KC and San Diego, 10 1/3, 5 runs, 8 hits total. There's just really nothing not to like about Braxton Garrett. He's been making me money all year. And the Fish continue to make me money all year too. They continue to play good baseball. I have no reason not to like the Fish here today.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm a little late to the party here, but I like it as well. You can still get the Marlins -1 at minus 115. I think that's another targetable way to look at this game, because obviously if they win by 1, it's a
Right,
voided
yeah.
ticket.
No, yeah.
You don't need them to win by 2. So I think that's instead of just chasing the steam on the money line, I think that's a good way to approach it. I'm a big fan of Braxton Garrett. I've been a big fan of Braxton Garrett since last year. I think he's a guy that has a ton of potential, and you're starting to see it realized a little bit. I think the Marlins are also a pretty savvy organization in terms of player development, and I don't think they get enough credit for that. So for me, Mitch Keller, I like him. I still think that guy's got a ton of potential long term. But we see it consistently every year where guys burst onto the scene. They have a new pitch. They have a new pitch mix, whatever it is. They're really successful for about a month or two, and then these teams get a lot more tape on them. They start to have better at bats against them, and you can see last 5 starts, like you said, Sauce, 41.2% hard hit rate, 14.1% barrel rate. It's pretty astonishing, especially you consider the numbers that he had to that point. He's just not missing many bats. Swinging strike rate down to 8.7% at this point, so he really has fallen off across the board. It's just the Miami Marlins make a lot of sense right here.
When you just described pitcher bursting on the scene, having a good 5 or 6 starts and falling off, first name that came to my mind. What's the first name that comes to your mind when you hear that, Toast? There's one guy who has done that 2 years straight.
Johnny Cueto?
No, hell no. He always sucks. I was talking about Graham Ashcraft. Every 2 years in a row where he's like a top 10 pitcher in the NL and then just falls off.
Well, and the funny thing about Mitch Keller is that everybody talked about him going to driveline or whatever that is, and he's got a better pitch now and yada, yada, yada. And it took like a month and a half for somebody to figure that out.
I didn't even realize he had a new pitch. I didn't even know all that.
I don't know if it's a new pitch, but he's been working on the shaping of it. Is it new?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing that people don't realize though is like when you have a new pitch, it's brand new. Like there's no data on it. There's nothing for teams to scout against, whatever. But the underlying issues that contribute to pitcher struggles a lot of times have to do with sequencing. So it's not just do you have good stuff, because I think Mitch Keller's always had pretty good stuff, but it's when to use it. And like we talked about Snell recently being a little bit more aggressive.
He's a great example.
Like you have to throw strikes, and I think when guys don't trust their stuff, you see them nibble a lot more. They fall behind, puts hitters in really advantageous spots. So again, that's why I'm not out on Mitch Keller. I frankly think he's always had reasonably good stuff, but I think the sequencing, I think the IQ on the mound, there's still some growth that needs to happen there for him to truly take that next step and for it to be sustainable.
Yeah, Snell is a great example because that's exactly who I was going to use. I was going to say, you talked about Snell being able to do that. And he's one of those guys, when he's on, he's throwing strikes and then he's throwing breaking stuff behind it and it's unhittable. If not, he's walking guys because he's like 3-1, 2-1, has no breaking stuff. And then the fastball just sits up there and they tag it. So,
All right, let's move on to the final game. Oh, man. I keep forgetting to set up it all. All right. So, Mariners at Yankees, and what a weird series this has been, man. So I saw in the comments early, a couple people were saying they want to take the Yankees. I don't. I'm gonna stick to the under. I hate that it dropped to 7.5. Last night it was at 8. I'm still on it, and I'm still betting it. I think it's at plus money now. Let me check. An hour ago it was at plus 100. So I'm gonna say under 7.5 at plus 100, and you would think. This seems pretty a little on the risky side with these two pitchers, but I think both of these two pitchers are undervalued in this spot. First of all, Brian Wu and Proppy made a chart with these numbers. You saw it in the video last night. His expected numbers are, now I know not everyone is a big fan of the expected numbers, but his are insane. I mean, yeah, he's got a 7.30 ERA, and it doesn't, like, if you just look at his surface level numbers, looks like he's struggling to start his young career, but his expected ERA is 2.61, his FIP's 3.69, his expected FIP is 2.32. So those numbers indicate that there's a lot of positive regression coming for this kid. Against the Yankees lineup that without Aaron Judge, we know is just terrible. I mean, just terrible. You add on the fact that Brian Woo's main struggles have been against lefties. He has insane-looking splits against left-handed bats and right-handed bats. Yankees, as we know, very righty-heavy lineup. Probably going to be starting 6 righties in the lineup tonight. That's an estimation. And then the Yankees lineup without Judge, I don't even read off those numbers. 29th at WRC+, 29th. You know what it is. They're terrible without Judge. On the other side is Domingo Germán, much better at home, much better in Yankee Stadium. The Mariners' bats seemed like they were coming to life for a little bit, then disappeared. So at under 7.5, thinking maybe people are going to be betting the over with these 2 starting pitchers on the mound, and I think the play is the under.
Sorry, I'm on Seattle. Seattle, first 5 in full game. It was plus 100 both ways, or plus 105 for the full game. I really like this Woo kid. I know that I've talked about him a lot, but I truly believe that he's pretty damn good. And Sauce talked about it. I understand his numbers aren't going to look great in 3 starts, especially when you get lit up at Texas. But he's came back after that on the road against the Angels, and I actually think that's a 4 2/3 against that team is pretty impressive. It's a division rivalry. I'm impressed by that. And then he came home and pitched well against the White Sox. I don't really trust this Mariners team. I really don't trust Domingo Germán. This is going to be the second time that the Mariners are seeing Germán this year, which gives me a little bit more hope that they should be able to get the bats going. So, yeah, it's just one of those things that plus money, I'll take my chances. I'm just not a big Germán guy. Mariners have lost 2 in a row. They usually play at least 1 good game in Yankee Stadium when they go there. So I'll take my chances at plus money and see where I'm at.
I'm with you guys. I think Woo has a ton of talent. He's been missing a lot of bats. You mentioned the expected stat, Sauce. I think it's pretty crazy. 393 BABIP through 3 starts, and it's not like he's been obliterated. He's given up a few hard hit balls, a couple of barrels, but nothing to explain to 393 BABIP. The lefty righty splits a little bit concerning, but he did have some success across the platoon early in the year in the minor leagues. He did have those negative splits in 2022 in the minors, so remains to be seen what we have there. I won't be on this game until I see some lineups confirmed, but yeah, I think Woo, like if you're looking at your plus money and you have all the upside in the world on the Mariners in this spot, there's absolutely no reason to take the Yankees. So for me, it's Seattle or pass, and I'll see what things look like when the lineups come out.
Yeah, I agree. You guys kind of both just talked me out of Seattle. Beaver wrote down, I said it on YouTube last night, Prop Beaver wrote down this weird trend he found, and I don't know how seriously I take it, but he found that whatever happens when Domingo Germán sees a team, it's an extreme, and then the extreme opposite happens in the second one, and there's 5 straight examples of, like, I won't go through them all, but it's in the first start against the Twins, he dealt, second he got smoked. In the first start against Cleveland, he got rocked, second he dealt. And there's 5 straight examples of the second time he sees the team, the complete opposite happens. The first time he saw Seattle this year, he got rocked. That's razor thin, I know, but he showed me the data, and I was like, wow, that is kind of interesting. Even though it doesn't make a ton of logical baseball sense, I do like that. So if you're following that weird ass trend, Germán should be pitched well against Seattle.
Really quickly, just to the commissioner's point about the lineups. Jared Kelenic has been one of the Mariners' better hitters, and his total bases is at half a total base at minus 125. So I'm curious if he even plays, because that's just like a really weird number for me. So if he does play, that's a bet for me. But at minus 125 makes me think there's a possibility he's not playing. So I don't know. It just kind of threw me. But him and Julio Rodriguez, if you're looking for hit guys, those are the 2 I would be picking.
Julio Rodriguez, man. Me and Prop Beaver got into an argument. Would you trade Julio Rodriguez if you're the Mariners straight up for Pete Alonso?
Fuck no. Are you kidding me?
He said he would.
Wait. I have to go in a sec, but what was the rationale for that? Because I love Pete Alonso, but I wouldn't do that.
That Julio Rodriguez is batting like 220, and it's all built on hype based on one brief hot streak.
Wow.
I mean, Pete Alonso is sweet. I mean, we went through how many players would you trade Pete Alonso for straight up? Because the answer was like, wow, there's surprisingly not that many. Because we went through the league to find how many players you would trade Pete Alonso for. We only found like 11 or 12. So Julio Rodriguez was one that we happened to argue about. But we went through the whole league trying to find, and like it comes down to like, wow, Pete Alonso is actually like a top 13 offensive player, at least if you exclude the people that are super old.
Yeah. I think
he's 28. Julio's 22. Like, I don't even understand like how that's a conversation.
Well, and if you look at Pete Alonso's career trajectory, one of the things that Pete Alonso's done a really good job at is consistently chasing less and less bad pitches, which has consistently made him a better.
Yeah.
So, like, you look at his K rate has come way down. When you're swinging at better pitches, obviously you give yourself a chance to hit more good pitches, which leads to more extra base hits, stuff like that. Julio Rodriguez, I just pulled up the stats real quick, swinging at roughly 40% of the pitches that he has seen out of the strike zone this year. So you talk about a major low-hanging fruit. Just get him to stop chasing pitches. And a guy who was already, one of the most sensational players in baseball last year, you get right back there. And to your point, Toast, like he's 22. How many guys are still in the minor leagues at 22?
And the funny thing is too is about what you were just talking about. That is that the exact opposite was last year when he first came up. He was taking a whole bunch of strikes or a whole bunch of balls that he thought were balls. He was getting ring up on them. He adjusted and then he went on a tear. I feel like the same thing's coming. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs with Julio Rodriguez, but that dude's a star. There's a reason that Seattle, a team that notoriously doesn't pay stars, have already paid him.
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely. Yeah, I'm with it. Like the bat speed, the upside is just it's crazy to think about. I don't know. That's the age of social media, right? To even start contemplating those things.
I know. But in next time you have a minute to think of go through the league, how many players you would trade Pete Alonso for straight up.
Oh, not many.
Because I thought there would be a ton.
And not many. He plays a bad position for that.
Yeah, it's just I thought there would be a lot more than we came up with. We went through and there was a surprisingly small amount. That's why it was alarming. Anyway, let's do the community parlay. If Kamish, I know you said you got a coach. If you need to bounce,
yep. I appreciate you guys having me. Toast, great to meet you, dude. Hopefully, we'll run into each other again.
Yeah, hopefully next Thursday. We'll talk in messages. Hopefully, set it up.
Sounds good. See you guys
later.
Later, brother.
All right, so community parlay. Let's do it. Who ruined it last night? The Tigers, or was that 2 nights ago?
I don't even know.
I can't remember.
The Tigers won last night. I'm pretty sure they won.
Yeah, the Tigers won. That was 2 nights ago. Wow. All right, so first leg. Let's go with Braves money line. Phillies money line. Let's see. I think everyone's going to be on the Braves here, but let's see. D-backs money line. I know people like the D-backs here. And we'll go Twins money line with Joe Ryan. That's the first leg. Let's pick one. Yeah, it was shocking, Toast, because I thought there would be a ton, and it turns out we could only find 12.
I'd be curious who those 12 are.
Well, Bo Bichette, Yordan Alvarez.
Hold on, you would
these are trades that we would trade Alonso for.
Okay.
Yordan Alvarez, obviously Judge. Damn it, I can't think right now. We got 12 or 13 of them.
It's just that for me, I love Pete, but at the same time, he plays first base. It's just he's not the best at his position. I don't know. It's just he's gotten better. I don't know what the ceiling is.
Would you trade Alonso for anyone on the Rangers? So Braves money line is the first leg, by the way.
Let me type that in. Anyone on the Rangers?
Offensive players only. We said no. We thought we're not like Pete Alonso guys. We were trying to find. It was weird how we couldn't.
I wouldn't trade. Yeah, that's a.
It's just
Yeah,
the shocking part was when we first started, I thought there was going to be a bunch of guys. And as we went through, we were like, wow, there's like not that many. All right, so second leg up, Guardians money line, Padres money line, Marlins money line, Mariners money line. We obviously Acuna. Harper, but Harper we said might have been kind of close.
it's not even a fucking. No, it's not. Get out of here.
I mean, I think you could argue that Alonso's like pretty much just entering his ceiling and Harper's exiting it.
I would vehemently disagree with that with all my heart. I couldn't disagree more.
We said Harper, so we didn't disagree with you, but we were like saying it was close.
But to say that Pete is coming into and Bryce is leaving is I couldn't agree anymore or disagree anymore. I would probably trade Jankowski for him.
Jankowski.
But yeah.
Didn't the Mets just cut him?
Maybe Jonah Heim.
What the hell? You trade Pete Alonso for Jonah Heim?
I mean, no, I'm just saying, like, if you're asking me guys that would go, yeah. I mean, I'd keep Ezekiel Duran. I'd keep Josh Young. I'd keep Seager, Simeon, Adolis Garcia.
No, if you're the Mets, would you trade Pete Alonso for any offensive player on the Rangers? 5, 4, 3, 2, and it looks like Padres won the second leg. Let's see. Please stop with this Alonso nonsense. Dude, we got to talk about something. We're going to sit there and stare at the poll. Padres money line, second leg.
It's more like just a conversation.
I know. All right.
This is what we do all day.
Yeah, well, me and Poppy were sitting here making graphics and writing videos, so we just always do like trivia. Actually, some of it gets kind of funny. Mariners money line, Yankees money line. Let's throw the Twins.
So who's in it so far?
Braves money line, Padres money line are the two that have won. Here's the third one just posted.
Braves, Padres. Okay.
Jonah Heim. See, like, okay, if you want to say Jonah Heim's better than Alonso, I think Alonso's such a tool. Ever since I saw him doing deadlifts at the home run derby, I don't like him. That being said, if I'm the Mets, I'm not going to trade him for Jonah Heim just because I don't like him. You know, like.
Yeah, I love Pete Alonso too, but yeah, that's a good one. That's a good conversation starter because he's a pretty big name with power, like star power and stuff like that. It's a good conversation to have. That's for sure.
Marlins third leg. What are we at now with Braves, Padres, Marlins?
Braves, Padres, Marlins is a 3-piece parlay at
Plus 473.
Let's leave it there. Let's hit this one because I actually think that has a shot of winning. I like the Braves. Now, the community parlay doesn't matter what I personally like because we've put legs on there that are against my picks all the time. But I personally like those 3 legs, 473. Let's do it. Community parlay, Braves money line, Padres money line, Marlins money line plus 473. Let's do it. Tomorrow, Friday, finally we get a good slate. I mean, well, actually, I didn't look at it yet, but Fridays are always awesome. 15 games. I don't know who we want to get on yet. You know, I want to get Finesse in the Books to join me and Toast tomorrow. That'd be dope. People liked him a lot. Like to get him back. You know what? I'm pretty sure he said he can't tomorrow. I'll figure it out. Yeah, if you know, by the way, if you cap games and like can go through all the games on the slate like we do, send me a DM or an email if you want. I don't care how many followers you have. We're not like clout chasers. If you can add to the show and have some fun, send me an email and I'll check out your stuff. So, thanks for watching as always. See you tomorrow at 4 p.m. for the loaded... Friday's the best show. Not just show, it's the best night for baseball. So, hope you can make it. Everyone have a good day. Hit either of us up on Twitter if you need us. Talk to you guys later.